afternoon, morning, evening, good night. It is good to see you. I am back with another episode of the $500 to $5,000 challenge on Sorare. So far, we have made some decent trades in our journey. So far, we've mostly sold players for more than we bought them for. However, we are still looking for that first real rewards hit. So a lot has happened since the last time I went live here with my club. If you've watched a couple of these videos now, you've probably gathered that I'm not a very patient person who holds on to things. I also think that the way that I play Sorare, at least for me, that selling when you have made profit on players is a big thing that I believe in. If you believe that Sorare is a something with unlimited, infinite potential, then maybe you want to hold on to your players for longer than I do. I am not one of those people. I want to, you know, get $5,000 out of 500 as quickly as possible. So that's how I play. So without further ado, let's just get into some of the things that have happened. So last time we left off, I had bought a Pumas stack. I still have the Puma stack. We have Alfredo Talavera, Nicholas Ferreira, Leonel Lopez, and Juan Dineno, and Alan Mozo. So we bought this stack for their game against Saprissa, which went very, very well. They won 4-0. Alan Mozo had an assist. Leonel Lopez also had an assist, and Juan Dineno scored 2 goals, I think. The problem was our goalkeeper Alfredo Talavera was injured, which was unknown before the game, so that one sucked. Ferreira was also injured, which was known before the game, and so I screwed up there. That's part of Sorare. And so it looked like a really, really good week for me. I think that was 2 game weeks ago, but it turned out to be nothing because those guys were gonzo. So here's what we've done since then. Oh yes, I need to update one other thing. This goalkeeper, Lee Guangyan, we bought to hopefully be a U23 goalkeeper with the idea that maybe he would be the starter for Gangwon. He has not been the starter for Gangwon. They signed a goalkeeper from FC Seoul, I think, and he has been the starter, and so we do not have a U23 team. So that made me think, all right, how do we restructure? How do we get it so we can have as many lineups that are competitive as possible? And so I decided it was time to sell those U23 guys that I was holding because their prices had gone up, and it gave me some flexibility going forward. So we sold Komanic for $21 after buying him for, I think, right around $21. Yeah, 20. We sold Caicedo for $63 after buying him for 47. So that was a nice little bump there. And then I decided, okay, let me just get the goalkeeper for Gangwon because I already have a nice stack. And so I bought Yu Sang Hoon for 111 at that point. And I started to try and move out into Challenger as well, just to because it seemed like there were some deals out there, especially in the Russian Premier League. This was before all the news events in Russian Premier League. Obviously, that affects Sorare, but it really doesn't. It doesn't actually matter in real life, right? Like the horrible things that are happening in Eastern Europe are much more important than anything that would happen to my Sorare team. So that's the last I'll say on that. So I ended up getting a Rostov stack here. I bought Sergei Peskikov, their goalkeeper, and I bought him. It looks like at a top price because their game actually got canceled in the end. And I also bought Maxim Osipenko, who is a 50-point machine. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is build out as many goalkeeper with defender stacks as I can to spread out. I don't actually have Alte Bander as a play in my 500 to 5,000 so rare challenge, so please ignore him with me. I bought him to try and flip, and it looks like it was a bad call, as you can see, but hopefully eventually it'll turn out okay. And then we bought Maxim Osipenko, and we had a nice defender to goalkeeper stack, but I did not like their attacking options. They were a little bit too expensive for me. And so I wanted to find somewhere that I thought in Challenger that would also be undervalued for their attacking options. And I went to Austria because Austria, I did not know this. I was listening to, I think it was Quinny, something with Quinny and Andrew Laird, and they were talking about Austria, how they have a playoff at the end of their season, but it splits between the bottom of the table and the top of the table, and the top of the table plays for the championship, and then the bottom of the table plays for relegation. And so some mid-table teams that are going to be in that bottom tier are probably going to have a lot of easy matchups coming up. And so I decided to target this team, Hartberg, because they are, let's just look at the Austrian Bundesliga table. I think they're pretty much locked into the bottom half because they only have one game left. Yep. So they're locked into the bottom half, but they are a decent team, and their expected goals were slightly higher than their goals for so far. So, there could be some positive goal regression coming there, especially against the bottom teams, the worst defenses in the league. And so they're going to be able to play, WSG. This team is called Cash Point, actually, I think. And they're going to be playing some bottom teams coming up. And so I have a feeling that these guys are going to reach back into those like 50 scorings when they play some bottom teams. I have not got a forward for that team yet. I am waiting to sell this guy, Hiroshi Kiyotaki. As you can see, I bought him for 0.0173, and he is now being sold for 0.0325. So bought him for like $40, and he's going to be sold for 100. So that'll be a nice little profit on that guy. And at that point, I'm going to buy, I think, the forward for Hartberg. His name is Dario Tadic. Not the good Tadic, but he looks like he could, score a goal occasionally. And at that point, he's, 70, 60 point, whatever. But he is extremely, extremely cheap for a forward, $21. And so we're gonna go and get him because we decided to end up selling a lot of those Asian guys that I bought last week because they ran really well for 2 weeks. Gangwon had 2 clean sheets in a row. And so Sanghoon, their goalkeeper, had gone from 111 to 132. So I decided to just go ahead and sell him. But especially their defenders, their prices went kind of nuts. So I bought Chang Wu for 24, was able to sell him for 36. Bought Young Bin for I can't remember what I bought Young Bin for, but it went up, and so I decided it was time to get out of those guys as well. And also Kiyotake had scored a goal in each of his first 2 games. Let's go back to my gallery here. Kiyotake had scored a goal in each of his first 2 games, which is not going to last, and that made his score, his last 5 score go way up, and then his price go way up. So I decided to cash out on him as well. And so that left me without an Asian team, which I decided to build another Asian team because I had some money left over. So with the Yu Sung-hoo profits, I was able to easily pick up Takuto Hayashi. His price is like insanely low for a starting goalkeeper. I think it's because he's 39 years old. And Kaisuke Osako, who a lot of people want to be the starting goalkeeper behind him, he's a young player. You might, if you've watched all the videos, you'll remember we bought him early on and then sold him early on. A lot of people want him to be the starter. I don't think he's going to get the starting job at anytime soon here, because Hayashi got player of the game in the first game. He's only given up 1 goal on the season, and I expect Hiroshima to be a pretty solid defensive team. And so at 80, what did I pick him up for? Let's see. I picked him up at 92.45, so he's available for even less than that right now. Or no, that's euros. 92.45. Like that's a great price for a starting goalkeeper who could have who has clean sheet potential. And so, we sell Sang-hoon for 132, pick up a guy who's basically his equivalent for 92. Seems like a good deal to me. Once we had Hayashi, I love me my defensive stacks if we got those kind of guys available. So we got 50-point machines from the center backs. They play a back three, which we love because that means they probably try to keep the ball in a mid block a lot, and they just have a lot of sideways passes, completed passes between each other. So I noticed that this guy was ridiculously cheap at the time for a 50-point scorer. We're talking $23. I just sold a guy who's a pretty, I sold Young Ben for $28, who's a, similar 58-point machine. We sold, let's see, Chang Woo, who is also a similar 50-point machine for $24. So, nice price on Nogami. And then I did decide to just pair him with a slightly more expensive guy who plays on this team as well, because I just like that correlation here. We have Mr. As it loads here, we have I forgot his name already. Iraqi for 50 to 80, which is probably more than I really wanted to spend on a guy who's, basically the same here. But we decided to just get that correlation in there because I had found a team that offensively I felt like had some good upside and were also quite cheap. So Contadole Sapporo was a top team in the J League last year, and so far this year they've had some tough results, but I expect it to get easier for them going forward. Just their best 2 results. Yeah, so they drew with Sanfrecce, and they drew with Shimizu S-Pulse, which are both games that they probably would have expected to win. And so their prices have been going down a little bit. But as their schedule gets easier, as they, get their form together, I think they're going to be just fine. And so I wanted to take advantage of some of the low prices on their guys. So I picked up this guy, Komai, a midfielder, a 53 last 15, 50 last 40 kind of guy who has 100-point upside, 90-point upside when he gets some decisives, because his all-around game is quite strong. As you can see, he's like a 30 to, sometimes he's really low and sometimes he's really high on the all-around game. So if we hit them in a big win like this one, 5-1, here we go. We got a 100-point guy, right? So he looked really nice at $20, and so I wanted to pair him with a forward because he does most of his decisives looked like they were assists, and so I wanted to get a forward with him. This guy is extremely cheap right now. He has started the first 2 games for Sapporo. He got transferred over from Urawa, where he was not a starter, but here it looks like he is a starter, and so his price has not really adjusted to being a starter's price. And so I was able to pick him up for $21, which is a very, very low price for forward. Obviously, like if we look at my previous forwards, we're looking at $40 plus for those guys. So that rounded out my Asian team, and I still have $15 left from just starting with $500 on Sorare and sort of trading in and out of players and trying to get as many teams as possible. So that is where we stand right now. Let's just look at my teams one more time. Remember that Bayendir guy is some stupid flip I tried to do that is not turning out well. He's not actually in this at all. Okay, so we have Talavera, who's our Champion America guy. All of them can obviously play in Global All-Star. We have our Asian goalkeeper, and we have a Challenger goalkeeper. Then we have this guy who we're just going to hang on to. Hopefully he eventually gets the starting job in Gangwon. I'm not that confident that it's going to happen, but we're going to hold on to him because otherwise we'd be selling him at a big loss, and I don't want to do that. Lim Chae Min got transferred to China, so we're holding him for a bit until they start, and then once he gets a couple starts in China, I will try and sell him off as well. These are my 2 Asian defenders, my 2 Champion American defenders, and my Challenger defender. My Champion America midfielder, Asian midfielder, 2 Challenger midfielders, and then we're going to sell this guy and get Tadic to round out each of those teams. Okay, so let's get into the game week this week because there's some interesting things happening over here. So let's actually go back to the lineup builder over here. Oh, I also have a team running this week. I played Pumas has a game. It looks like Ferreira and Talavera are both back. Ferreira came off the bench in their last game, and Talavera was starting. And so for my All-Star Limited, we've got our Puma stack running. They are playing Santos Laguna, who sucks. They got rocked by CF Montreal from MLS. So hoping for some big potential here with this Puma stack because this is a relatively small game week. Let's look at the prize pool for the All-Star. So we got Star Limiteds up top, and there they are, the boys, the Killians. No Holland this week, it looks like. Kimmich, Timber, smashers. So hoping for a good result there. We'll see what happens. And that game, I believe, is tomorrow, the Pumas game at 7 o'clock my time. But let's build for the weekend. Okay, so we have a few options with All-Star. I want to keep all my stacks together because I need to play them in their specific division. So whoever I play in All-Star is going to be a stack, I'm pretty certain. So it looks like Pumas plays Mazatlan this weekend, and Mazatlan also sucks. And so it looks like we're going to be playing Pumas in our Global All-Star because we want to play our best lineup in All-Star. So obviously with Talavera, we want to get that correlation. He's the bottom projected guy because he's been injured, but we're going to play him. Lopez is even top projected. There we go. Beautiful. We're going to play Juan just to keep those stacks together. And we are going to play Alan Mozo with this team. Alan Mozo is that wingback for Pumas. who is he's a very exciting player. I'm surprised that Mexico has not called him up yet because he seems a lot better than their other options at wingback, and he's just really, really good. And when Pumas has the ball, he seems to score like insane. Like let's look at his score from last week real quick. Sorare. Yeah, when they have a game where they're like in control of the ball, like they were against Prisa, like here we go. This guy got 2 assists and 12 and a half all around. Like he has, 20-point potential even in a bad game and all around. So if we could get that 70 and a 20 off him, we're in business, right? We got a 100-point guy, we got a 96-point guy. Like he's a pretty exciting guy. So now let's just figure out who we're going to captain. It's going to be Lionel Lopez. He is my top projected player for the week. So we're going to do that. Download it just so I remember it here. But let's go over to Sorare and just build it out. I already have it built, I guess. So this is going to be my Global All-Star team. Let's go Pumas. Okay. Do not have a U23 team. So now let's go over to Asia and build that team out. Oh, I was like, what am I doing wrong here? Okay. Asia Limited. There we go. All right. So we only have a few our options here. We're going to play him with our guy Yuki. We're going to play this little Consadole attacking stack. We're selling Kiyotake. Once we sell Kiyotake, we're going to buy a couple more pieces as well. And we're going to play Araki. So here are our options for captain. Let's click here and show our picked players. So the system likes Araki as our captain, which is interesting. Consadole has a pretty easy matchup, but and what do we have? They have Wiesel, Kobe. Okay, so if we get a clean sheet out of Sam Freese, what is Araki's like absolute upside? Let's have a look here. Okay, so he does have a 100-point performance in his past. He had a decisive in that game. Let's just look at his non-decisives where they're keeping clean. Yeah. All right, so this guy's nasty when they're keeping a clean sheet and keeping the ball quite a bit, which it looks like they might do in this game. So I think we're going to captain Araki. So let's go over to Sorare and build that team. All right, so let's root for that Sam Priest clean sheet and the Consadole to score a couple goals. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to go over to our we're actually going to look at this weekly for a second because the weekly this week has something very interesting going on. There is some uniques up for grabs that you can play. You can play your limiteds to win uniques, which is pretty insane. My concern about playing this here is that so the way that let me back up a second. The way that the weekly works this week is that they are going to have minimum last 5 games, average score, maximum 45. So they're playing all guys who have averages less than 45 in their last 5 games, and you can play your limiteds in here. Now, the prize pool like I was showing, the prize pool, we have a few uniques up top. Then we have tier 2 super rares to 15th place. Tier 3 super rares, which are generally not worth that much, but obviously would make a big difference in my $500 to $5,000 so rare challenge. Then we get down to tier 3 rares, which can be worth like less than limited cards for sure. And then tier 3 limiteds, which are worth basically nothing. My concern about playing here is that people are going to see these uniques up top and they're going to put the very best lineups together that they can. And with the constructs of my budget, I don't think that I can do that. But also, I see a unique card up top and you're like, I want that. Especially a tier 1 unique. That's insane. So let's just take a look at if we even have guys that are gonna fit here, because it might be worth it just to take the swing, because I don't think that our challenger guys this week are gonna be that good anyways, because Austria is still in their regular season. They're not in that ideal matchup situation that I was talking about. Okay, so our goalkeeper fits here. Lim Chae Min is not going to play. Okay, this guy fits. No forward to play, and Lim Chae Min. Okay, so I think I'm gonna think about this a little bit more. See what happens when I sell Kiyotake. I may want to scout a few guys out to play this special weekly with that budget, just because the upside is so huge with tier 1 unique. So let's do a little bit of that. Let's just scout out what we could do with Kiyotake. So Kiyotake, I'm hoping to sell for like 0.0. Let's see what I have him for sale for right now. I think he's the last of my guys to sell from the 500 to 5,000. I must have him somewhere up here. I don't know why I'm looking in that space. Okay, so we're trying to sell him for about 0.0325. Do I have anyone else limited wise for sale? Let's see. From this challenge that we've been doing. No. Okay. So at that point, I'm going to have around $110 to work with. So could I get some guys to fill out that squad? And here's how I've been scouting it. I think that there's probably there looked like there was a better way. I saw someone's tweet that they were that they had set it up for you to be able to find them, but I've just been doing it manually because I want to find guys that over the past 5 games, obviously their score is lower than 45. Open these up all the way. But then I want to find guys who are probably like either coming back from injury or just had some tough matchups, but who are regularly pretty good scorers. So let's get guys who are higher than 45 regularly over the past 40 games. And let's get guys who have nice all-around games, because we always want to have those guys. Okay. I do need a forward. That's probably going to be my toughest position to find for sure. So let's look at forwards first. We just want a starter. We don't care about what league, because it doesn't really matter. It's probably a guy that we're just going to look to sell at a small loss or even next week, because this opportunity is here and I want to take advantage of it. It seems fun. Okay, so I can't spend over 0.02 on my forward, I don't think, because I have 2 other positions to fill. Let's see if we have any guys like that. Let's have a look at this dude for CSKA. All right, so he is a Nigerian national, so that's part of his old scores, but he did come off the bench in their 2-0 win. That sucks. He started a lot before that, but this is like back after a long break. That feels like he's probably going to be on the bench in the next game as well. Let's see who started over him. Oh yeah, they signed Yusuf Yazici, who's actually a very good player. So I think he's screwed. I don't think that guy's going to be starting games anytime soon. Let's see if we can find anyone up at .03. Okay, did Darwin Quintero start this weekend? Because this could be a nice little. Nope. That sucks. Okay. Let's get this all around down to like 4. All right. We have a few more options again. Let's go back down to 2. Let's just get the all around out of there because we're really gonna look for a guy now that can just score a goal, right? Oosting, has he been starting every game? Why is his price so low? He starts, he gets a full out of the squad bench. Okay, so maybe he's injured. So that doesn't look so promising. So maybe we end up just playing Challenger. This is something I will have to think about and keep working through as the week goes on. Hopefully, I can pull up a stream again before the weekend. I'm not 100% sure on that, but if I do end up going for this weekly, I will definitely try and get the team out there just to see what we could come up with and see if there's any hidden gems, because I'm gonna have to do some deeper digging that I don't have the time for at the moment, because my son is waking from a nap as we speak. So I am gonna end the broadcast here. So we got Pumas going. We've got an Asian team going that is focused on Sanfrecce and Consadole. Sanfrecce, the defensive side, Consadole, the offensive side. And then we're either going to play Challenger or we're going to play this weekly. And I will see you guys on the next one. If you enjoyed this video, just like every other video, please please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep working on this kind of content where I just sort of spitball off the top of the head. And then I'm also working on some more evergreen sort of videos that are just about Sorare in general, about MLS in general. I'm hoping to do a buy low, sell high on MLS guys, because that's where my expertise is, and also talk about guys that I am looking to buy once they do the new season of MLS cards and prices go down again. So that is what's coming up for me. And also, we're going to keep rolling with this $500 to $5,000 challenge. Hopefully, we can make a withdrawal soon. All right. I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye. This ending of the broadcast is taking